Hola, mi amigos. Buenas noches. Soy Thingamajig. Mucho gusto. Hello, guys. Here we go then. Race 2 of the evening. The 3-hour race, endurance race of the AXR, the AequepaX Racing Guys League. I don't know. You've got to put something at the end of racing group. It's a tricky. I feel like there's got to be something else. Racing Chavies? Racing Ducks? I don't know. But it's just AequepaX Racing. I feel like it's too much of a heavy braking. You were here with the AequepaX Racing Guys. I'm going to add guys. Tough. For race 2. We've just had an absolute blinder in the first one, where it was Stucilla Racing versus something about Speedbots Motorsport, and yeah, we had ourselves an absolute cracker-lacker of a race up front. Interesting stuff down Rotary with getting penalties outside of his backside, and yeah, so if you have the time, any time, go back and watch race 1. It's in 2 parts because my internet went. So I've been loving some of the post-race interviews in the AequepaX Discord, and that's how F1 should do it, because there's a lot of swearing and a lot of unhappy sim racers out there with PD. Polybaloney strikes again. I'm just going to post this into their Discord. I don't know if they want me to or not. I'm so full of myself. I'm so into myself. I want more viewers. I want more likes. I want it all. I want it all. Oh yeah. So now we've got this tedious thing where I've got to sit here now and try and work out who drives for who. Sorry, I've got a list. What's going on? Everything's gone wrong on my YouTube. Let me find myself. Make sure it's coming through. No chat. What's wrong with you? Come on, chat it up, boys. Nothing's happening. Oh my lord. Am I even on? Now I've got all nervous. Here we go. I'm more nervous with the internet, I must admit, in between racing. Don't tell group, because I'm professional, but I'd left my iTunes open, so that might have had some sort of effect on my internet. I wasn't listening to it. I'll tell you what I was listening to today, and none of you have probably heard of it. I was playing Cities VR, floating around, listening to the orb. Little fluffy clouds. It's amazing. You can transcend when you listen to the orb. Right. So Nibles, I know he's in a McLaren, and he is racing for Stucilla, who just come off. I don't want to do. Is it a spoiler? Is it a spoiler? If you're watching race 2 before race 1, then more fool you. But yeah, Stucilla got themselves a great win in the first race, and he'll be starting at the front. Of course, it's not giving it away because you'll see the grid, which is the same finishing results as the first race. Tim Law, right now then, let's see who Tim Law drives for. Right, it's Clockwork. It's Clockwork. Look, already I'm starting to get it. He's with the Clockwork team, Vertex. So Tim Law on the Clockwork Motorsport team, Vertex, partnered GT Racer, who could have got a podium. But he damaged his car in the last third of the race, had to make a pit stop, and then his teammate Noir Antares got that third place. But Tim Law starting 4th, I believe. Nibles starting on pole through the hard work of his teammate Frequency in the first race. Mr. Slowly is racing for Full Throttle Racing. I recognise. Look, I'm doing well. Usually takes me about 4 streams to start getting what people are a team they're racing for. But yeah, Full Throttle Racing, and they got penalised up the backside in the first race. Rotary, I think, came home in 6th in the end, but should have done much better. Had the pace to do a lot better. Now their pit stops. Oof, penalties. All right then. Harry Mop. That's quite clever. Heramop, 89, He's racing the BMW Clockwork, so he's Noir's teammate for the Clockwork Motorsport team AequepaX. The legends that were. And his teammate got third, so he'll be starting third. Caliber will be starting at the back. No, he won't. He'll be starting second because his teammate's Robbo. Thought his mate was Kev because obviously he was teammates with Kevin last season. But no, he's with Dan Robbo this time. Two aliens in a very fast car. And he'll be starting second on the grid when we finally get off. I'm not sure when that will be. I'm guessing probably on the hour. It'd round it up quite nicely, wouldn't it? I suppose in 4 minutes, but who knows? So we've got who he drives for. Mr. Slowly's for Full Throttle Racing. Sober is in the Audi, I believe, and they were Sober Racing last season. This season they are Garage 96. Garage 96 in the Audi. Tough car to drive. Looks fantastic though. Big Mama. He's in the Merc. We saw Untamed Animal in that very car. So they are racing for team. Kira Corsa, I believe. Kira Corsa is how it's said. Hopefully, I think someone told me. Talk to me, people, in YouTube. I feel like I'm something's wrong. At least I'll talk to myself. Let's see if it works. So awesome. You're so awesome. Oh, thank you, whoever that was. Some strange person from nowhere saying that I was so awesome. Holy God. Oh, we're into the race. Wow. That was weird. Usually the room closes. So Nibles on pole. Is everything as it should be then? Yeah, everything seems like it should be. That seemed too easy. Usually you have to go around the houses with this. And it's it's a rolling start. Won't get too excited. A rolling start then. Nibles ahead of Caliber. That is one hell of a battle head there. Herimop there is in the Beamer. So let's have a look. And it's lights out. It's a little bit grey and misty out there. I'm not sure if Watkins Glen has a rain setting, but it looks misty and horrible. So Nibles, big slide coming around the first corner, giving Caliber the outside on the same tyres, and Caliber in the Beamer very much more planted than Nibles, finding the McLaren a little light on its toes, with the other Beamer bearing hard down on a frequency. Then we have Tim Law in the Corvette, Speedy Man Charles in the second Corvette, and look at them all string it through the chicane. Oh, big wobble there from Joker, and the Jenny X spins around, and that car, he saved it though. Look at that, spinning so close to the barrier, and he didn't hit it. But Joker now on the back foot, and they've all had troubles with the Jenny today. And Sober then. So where are we? We've got Speedy Man Charles, we was up to in 5th now. Mr. Slowly in 6th in the other Jenny X. Then we've got Sober in the Audi. There's movement down there. And oh my word, it looks almost like Speedy Man Charles pulled off the line there to let the cart Mr. Slowly through. That was a strange one. Or maybe Speedy Man Charles is... No, he had nothing to do with the other Jenny X spinning. That was all on its own. Sober then in the Audi, closing in on Speedy Man Charles. Liam at Thurso. He's racing for the AequepaX team in the BMW, Splash's teammate. And he's lost a position as well to Big Mama. A Big Mama, no drama, Big Mama. And he's through in the Merc. Two Mercs at the back. Jay is in 10th. And I think he was Kevin's teammate, I believe. Oh, it's a beautiful looking Aston Martin. I think that's just the actual Aston Martin colours, isn't it? It looks like their livery hasn't shown up on our stream, which is always a shame. It happens, but it is a shame. Yes, he is racing with someone. Give me a second, I'll find him. My life drains away from me when I'm looking through all these. I saw him, I'm sure he's with Kev. Yeah, he is with Kev in THG RTF in the Aston Martin, but it looks like, unfortunately, the livery's not showing up on that one. And we saw Joker earlier spinning it around and not damaging it, so you've got to take something from it. Caliber then has pulled out 2.6 seconds on Nibles, but oh my, the Beamer, oh my, we've lost a Hairy Mop. Somehow dropping down the order. Has it already happened? Oh, he got a penalty. He got a penalty. He was already down in 4th, so he'd already lost 2 positions, maybe a small off from our man Erimop. I like his name. I'm going to say it a lot. It's going to annoy you. No one in the chat. What is wrong with you all? So Erimop has lost that to Sober and Speedy Man Charles, taking that penalty. So from 3rd now down into 7th. And it's a lot of work to do, but it's early doors in this race. Big Mama going out there wide, and Liam at Thurso will waste no time whatsoever in trying to gain that position back. He's got a lovely toe into the first corner. How brave is he going to be? Tucks back in. No, sits back. Oh, and he lets Big Mama go out wide. And that's Liam at Thurso is through and up and into 8th place, only 1.6 seconds behind Heramop, who was 3rd place only like half a lap ago. So cracking little racing all up and down the fields, and yes, great stuff. Caliber then 3.3 second lead now on Nibles, who is really struggling against Tim Law. And in the chat, Rudolph Shenanigans saying, too enthralled by the commentary. Oh, bless you. Bless you. That's really nice. So Caliber then is leading this race. Nibles trying to keep Tim Law at bay, but that Corvette is stunning. Mr. Slowly also in the action. Let's sit here and enjoy this. Speedy Man Charles only a second behind us. We can have a quick look. Oh, whoa. No, he doesn't get the move done. Tim Law having a look up the inside of the Stossilla Racing Team's McLaren. And it's a clockwork orange all up in Stossilla's Racing. Mr. Slowly getting a little back swing going on with his, what's he in? Corvette, innit? He's in a Corvette. He's right on. No, it's the Corvette in front. Mr. Slowly is in the Jenny X, sorry. I'm sure he's in the Jenny X. And it's Mr. Slowly who's got the straight line speed, it seems, the toe and the straight line speed up the inside. Beautiful move from Mr. Slowly, and he keeps all the back end wiggling all over the place, and it's going to be Tim Law trying to get back by again. And no, Mr. Slowly, beautiful move from Mr. Slowly there, gaining that 3rd spot from Tim Law. But Tim Law, something tells me he's not going to rest with that. He's back again against the Genesis. And from fighting Nibles, he is now on the back foot going through the chicane. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of the other Corvette. Just there, the Puma Red Corvette chasing these guys down. And oh, Mr. Slowly having a look at Nibles. And we are having an absolute cracker here with Nibles trying to keep the tide back. He's trying to hold that tidal wave of cars that just want to flood through Mr. Slowly in the Gen X. We saw that the Genesis X was fast, but poor old Rotary was just getting a penalty after penalty. And then Mr. Slowly there gets through. Nibles goes a little wide out of the corner, and I think there was space given, but it's down to these guys. And Tim Law back in the action with the two battling, and it's Mr. Slowly in the Gen X now up and into 2nd place, but Caliber is now 6.6 seconds out there in the lead. Unstoppable. Well, we thought that with Dan Robbo as well, remember? Nibles he might not be going too fast because he might be saving, although his fuel is exactly the same as the guys around him. Right then, we've got Speedy Man Charles. He's doing a good lap time, 45.3 against Tim Law's 46.2. So Speedy Man Charles hasn't got the hindrance of the guys racing, and Nibbles looks like he's going to lose another position to the Corvette as the Corvette comes through and up the inside, and we're getting some beautiful overtakes today, really are. It is delicious, my gosh. So Tim Law pulling an absolute blinder, and he's chasing down the Jenny X of Full Throttle Racing's Mr. Slowly, and Tim Law in third, with Nibbles in fourth. Then we've got Speedy Man Charles in the Corvette. Or is it Speedy Man Charles? Because I always thought Charles was Charles until recently, and then I found out Charles can also be Charles. If you're pretentious. So Nibbles all over Tim Law. Tim Law has got a lot of work to do. He has just got himself past the McLaren, or maybe not. On the straight, the McLaren not too hot, is it? It's out the corners. The McLaren's the danger, and now Mr. Slowly feels the heat as Tim Law starts bringing it to his door, and then Nibbles right there in a great spectator seat, but Speedy Man Charles could be the danger there to that podium fight that we're seeing ahead. Then Harry Mop, who was up in third, he's got himself up a position as he dropped down further than that, I'm sure. Sober in seventh in the Audi, with Jay in eighth, and Liam at third, so really giving Jay something to think about. Ironic, the Aston and the Merc in a battle, and it's the Aston that's in front of the Merc. Joker then had his massive spin. He's gained a position from Big Mama. It looks like Big Mama has had some issues there. Oof, that Mercedes does not like tyres, does it? It really does not like the tyres. Absolutely trashed the tyres, and we're only, 9 minutes into this 90-minute race. And yes, I think Big Mama better stick to mediums or heavier compounds. So far then, Caliber is doing what he does, what he was born for. He was born in a flux of speed. He came out of the womb at 50 miles an hour, and he's lived his life at 120 miles an hour ever since. And at the moment he's 8.6 seconds in the lead. Mr. Slowly, a great move earlier on Nibbles, up and into second. Tim Law also pulling a move on Nibbles, up into third. And Nibbles, we suspect, maybe looking after his car. His fuel is the same though as the Corvette he is chasing. Speedy Man Charles is there in fifth, only 1.7 seconds, and there could be a lot of engine management, or car management going on here. We're not sure. Harry Mop, who was up in third in that BMW, slipping down through, we suspect, a small off, and then getting a penalty for that small off, and that's why penalties suck. Sober in seventh. He's hitting it hard in the Audi, and yeah, the Audi's a difficult car to drive at the best of times. And at Watkins Glen, it really is a shudderer, because it's up and down, it's here and there, it's all sorts of trouble in the way of driving it. Like you're going downhill there into a corner. Let's get inboard. Let's talk you through it, shall we? So yeah, curbs are killers. Curbs are killers here. You want to not ride the curbs too much. You can see how Sober is staying off of those curbs. He doesn't even fancy riding them. They're quite high. They can unsettle the car but it's the corners. Like when you brake into this chicane, you touch that curb, you touch that. See how the car's flipped there? Come out here, you get that wrong, you're into that wall. Down here it's going downhill, little bump in the middle of the corner, then down again. It's like 3 different gradients of down in one corner, and again down, braking down. And it's very difficult to brake into a downhill corner. You have to apply more brake than you need, and when your tyres are all over the place. Then down here it's down into a dip, then up. It's an unsettling track. Very unsettling for the car. If you haven't got a good stable car beneath you, then it's very tricky to get a good lap time around Watkins Glen. Again down the straight, always uphill, so the engine power just not so good. Get to the brake and it's like another dip into a hill. So, you know, and then again, any bit of straight up the hill, and then let's drop it down for a corner. This one, very tricky corner, keeps going round and round. You just want to get on the accelerator and then floors it through the first corner. A little lift, felt a little understeer there in the mid corner, and then again downhill around a very long corner onto the start straight. And yeah, Watkins Glen, a tricky lap to be had around Watkins Glen. We've had a pit stop. Speedy Man Charles has gone into the pits, has he? No, yes, he has. And that's tyre wear. That's tyre wear. Oh, he's out. He's out. So what's he done with his fuel? Left the fuel, new tyres. And Big Mama also pitting. Could have been for damage, but I don't know. They were quite worn. He's gone on to the mediums, and I suspect Big Mama will also be going on to the mediums. Yeah, the softs just didn't cut it in that first stint. 13 minutes into the race. Caliber halfway through his set of mediums and halfway through his fuel. 11 seconds in the lead. It must get boring when you're that good. And Mr. Slowly over halfway through his tyres. He's well on his way to that front left tyre being useless, and he's just used up over half a tank of fuel. Bit of a wiggle coming out of that corner. Niblez has got oh no, we've had some changes here. Where is someone else? Tim Law. Tim Law, he must have pitted. He has. Sorry, I missed that. Tim Law pitting. That last time out is put him down in 9th behind Joker. We saw Joker having a huge spin earlier, but he's in 8th at the moment, doing quite fine. Oh, I missed a chat a while ago. 2-0 saying RTF Lanenan. I don't know what that is. Sorry, man. So, yeah, Tim Law making an early stop in the Corvette. He's gone to medium. Speedy Man Charles also in the Corvette making a stop, but not for fuel. I think it's for tyres. They started on the softs maybe, and Big Mama also we know started on. Oh, and they've gone for softs again. They like the softs, obviously. Caliber is flying out there with Mr. Slowly. Just he's pulling away from Niblez as well. Niblez though, I was going to say Niblez is looking after his car. He's definitely looking after the tyres. That McLaren is very nice. I think it's a mid-range engine. So I think they're always quite nice to their tyres. Just usually down on speed, down the straights, I think. Harry Mop has had a great race to get himself back up there in 4th. He must have got himself past Sober Motorsport. And we saw Liam Thurso and Jay battling it out earlier. And they are catching up at the Audi. The Audi did a 46.7 last time out. And Jay doing a 46.6. 46.7. Joker 45.9. He's catching those guys up. Tim Law, who's just made his pit stop, he's 8 seconds behind Joker, 3.2 seconds ahead of Speedy Man Charles and Big Mama down there in 11th, but he's on the softer tyre, so he should be able to pull in some time on those guys ahead of him. What a man. What a man is Caliber. Look at him go. He is absolutely phenomenal. So the Gen X has come in. Those medium tyres for full throttle racing have given up the ghost. That's put Niblez up a position into 2nd. More pit stops. Harry Mops also pitted. The other Finnish driver has stayed out in the Aston Martin, and Joker has also stayed out. So the Mercedes came in. The Mercedes of Mr. Slowly. No, he was Liam Thurso, sorry. So Speedy Man Charles makes up a fair few positions there going into the first corner, and so did Tim Law. And we haven't seen Niblez or any of the top 4 haven't pitted yet. So Tim Law 7.5 seconds, 35 seconds behind Caliber. That's yeah, I think Caliber can get in and out before 35 seconds. Speedy Man Charles though, 3.6 seconds behind Tim Law. The 2 Corvettes finding each other on track, and they're going to do battle. Mr. Slowly he was ahead of those guys. Has he filled up more? He has. He's filled up a lot more than the guys ahead of him, and has lost him the 2 positions, Tim Law and Speedy Man Charles. Harry Mop in 8th place, 3.2 seconds behind Mr. Slowly, 6 seconds ahead of the Audi of oh dear. Someone crossed the pit lane and has picked up a 3-second penalty, and they're only 3.5 seconds. Someone else has picked up a 3-second penalty though. So it's they've cancelled each other out. And Big Mama, foot down, man. Come on, you Canadian legend. Get on it. Because the guys ahead, see, they've taken one camera angle away. I've just realised. They've taken, hang on, that one. So you can only get to that one through the controller. How weird. It's not a great camera angle, trust me. But still, that's bizarre that it's not on the keyboard. I thought that as we were going around, because I wasn't seeing people's helmets. I like to see helmets. I love seeing other fellas' helmets. Show us your helmet, Big Mama. Can't see it because of that big sort of thing. So we can't see Big Mama's helmet. Yeah, there. That's weird. So that's the outer view. Does F do anything? No. I don't want to press that. Did that do something? No. So yeah, in car, bonnet or roof, bumper, chase. But yeah, your keyboard doesn't give you the option to do the passenger seat one. How weird. Oh, it's great having the keyboard though. Look, it was sickening before. This is what it'd be like there. It's Caliber. Oh, let's find Sober. Let me find Nibbles. We've got to flick through every single person. It was sickening. It could make you feel ill. But now we just press a button, one number. I can pick who I want to see. You want to see someone? Do you want to see Speedy Man Charles? Boom. There's Speedy Man Charles. You want to see Sober? Boom. There's Sober. Look at this. Doesn't get any better. Liam at Thurso. Boom. He's paying. Oh, he's got another penalty. And Liam at Thurso is our rotary in this race. Our Ocon. My word. Joker. Trying to come back in this race, and he has a little bit. Who was Liam at Thurso? Was racing. Speedy Man Charles, was he not? I'm not sure. I think he was. No. The Aston Martin. Oh, it hasn't pitted yet, has it? It's Jay. Jay in third, but he's not pitted yet. That's why I was disorganised there. So, the top guy's still not pitting. Caliber has virtually used his tyres up. He's got a quarter of a tank of fuel on board, though. Still plenty enough to keep him going with Nibbles. A quarter of a tank of fuel, but his tyres are fresh, bruv. Jay, his tyres are pretty burnt, but he's got over a quarter of a tank of fuel in that Aston Martin. Tim Law, one of the first pit stoppers, has got a quarter of a tank of fuel and fresh tyres. We're 20 minutes in now to the race. Speedy Man Charles has picked up a penalty there, and Mr. Slowly is smelling blood. He wants a piece of that action. He's trying to get by the Corvette as the Corvette carries a hefty penalty. Must have had an off. And Mr. Slowly then goes through. It's not even in the penalty area. I think Speedy Man Charles just didn't put up a fight there, did he? He knew. Or has he gained another? No, here he goes, spending his penalty. And Mr. Slowly now up another position. But Mr. Slowly filled his car right up. And Caliber, the leader, is into the pits. Nibbles also in the pit entry lane. And let's hope no one's cut that line with Jay. Oh, he was thinking about it maybe, but he's... no, he wasn't. Looked like he was in the yellow line. And Caliber, we said he could get in and out before anyone come round, and it does look like that is what has happened. And he's managed to stay within the 2 yellow lines. So almost a perfect pit stop for Caliber there. Jay has moved up into second place, but he's yet to pit. Tim Law up into third. Mr. Slowly in fourth. Oh my God, Speedy Man Charles. Where is Nibbles? Nibbles, he's 3/4 of a tank and medium tyres. Maybe he's going for long stints there. but he has dropped a huge amount. 21 seconds behind Caliber. It was 12 seconds. Was it not? I'm not sure. I've lost track. But yes, oh my word. And he's been done by Harry Mop, Speedy Man Charles, and Mr. Slowly. Speedy Man Charles, though, low on fuel. Mr. Slowly, half a tank. Tim Law, he was one of the first pitters, so he's less than a quarter of a tank. Jay's got more fuel than Tim Law, and Tim Law's been in, but I don't think he touched the fuel. I think he just changed tyres. Interesting race here. Caliber then, fresh set of boots, 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and he's on his way with Jay chasing down, but yet to pit. Jay, we saw earlier, was racing Liam Thurso. Oh, he's picked up a penalty. Penalties are the headline of this event, this round one at Watkins Glen is all about the penalty. And Jay is finally coming into the pits, putting Tim Law up and into second place. Mr. Slowly moving up into third. Mr. Slowly on a good strategy, half a tank of fuel. He'll be pitting out definitely a lot later than Tim Law. Speedy Man Charles, the two Corvettes will be in the next 5 minutes or so. Harry Mop on a good strategy there, just head down, cracking on. He's got half a tank of fuel, tyres still fresh, bruv, and he's making his way. With Tim Law and Speedy Man Charles, maybe possibly having to make a pit stop, that'll put him up into the third spot. 4 Clockwork Orange, Apex, and a good race had by Harry Mop. We are 24 minutes into this 90-minute race, this race 2 of round 1 at Watkins Glen, and what an absolute cracker we are being treated to. Caliber giving us a first-class showing of perfect driving standards out there, and I've got to say, Caliber is not jumping around. The last season, when he was in his Subaru, it was almost impossible. I thought he'd broken the code. I thought he was so fast, the code couldn't keep up with him, because I couldn't believe anyone's lag was that bad. But Caliber, no lag whatsoever. That's clean, bruv. Nice. So Caliber, I don't know if he's got new internet or just that the game's improved so much that it can cope with his speed. He's 10 seconds ahead of Tim Law, who will definitely be visiting the pits very soon. Mr. Slowly, who gave up track position for fuel, he filled up a lot more than the guys ahead. He's somehow got ahead of Speedy Man Charles. I think we did see that though. And now he's looking at Tim Law. Interesting. Very cool stuff here from Watkins Glen for race 2. Superb. I know I'm not as good as Stig, and you're missing your Aussie. I could try and do, oh yeah. Sorry, I can't be with you, me old fellas, me Brucers. I'm currently at Melbourne. I'm kind of enjoying the Red Bull show. It's cracking. I'm putting a shrimp on the barbie. I miss you all. I'll be back next round. Bongo. So there you go. Quick message from Stig. He'll be back next round. Don't worry. So Caliber, he's going to kill me. Hopefully he doesn't listen to this. He's at Melbourne. He's not going to care, is he? Don't tell him. So Caliber then leads this way, 11.5 seconds. Tim Law, who is imminently into the pits pretty soon, is being caught by Mr. Slowly, who is anything but Mr. Slowly today in his Jenny X. Speedy Man Charles is he's on vapors, man. He's on vapors. He definitely needs to see that pit lane entry. Harry Mop, who was running third in the first lap and then just slipped down like a brick, is coming back. He's doing well. Tim Law then into the pit lane. Tim Law in the Corvette for Clockwork Orange, getting the stop done, and the other Corvette as well, Speedy Man Charles and Nibbles, sorry, is back up and into fourth, but Harry Mop, when's he going to pit then? He's got loads of fuel. Harry Mop has really turned this one around. Nibbles in fourth with Sober Motorsport in that Audi, doing great jobs, great leaps in fifth place, 6 seconds behind the Flying Finn and 1.3 seconds ahead of Joker, who was off to a terrible start, but it's coming good for him now. He's on a good strategy, it seems. More fuel than the car ahead of him, only 1.1 seconds. Sober managing mid to late 45s, with Joker doing mid 45. So race on between the Audi and the Jenny X. Jay, after his pit stop, all the way down in seventh. Can I help you? Yeah, it's a 3-hour one. Oh no, I usually share it, but he's watching the Formula One, so I'm doing both stints. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's another hour yet, bro. Can't you just download it overnight, like everyone else does, so they don't clog up the internet? Please. Okay, well, I'm just saying, can't you just wait for an hour? Or just do it overnight, eh? Oh, Fallout's only 6 sucks, man. So, play it again and go with the Minutemen, or give the Railroad a hand job. You'll hate 76. Learn how to drive and play racing games. So Caliber then is leading the way, 14.5 seconds, with Mr. Slowly in second seat group. My 15-year-old child, you're causing him pain because he can't download. Well, it's an awful game, but he wants to download. New Vegas would be better than 76. Caliber then leads the way. He's just done the fastest lap of the race in the BMW, and Dan Robbo and Caliber this season, they've got another driver. Do you think they're going to let him drive? Do you think we'll ever see, what is it, Marvin? Starving Marvin or something like that? Let's have a look. Let's have a look who their third driver is. Give me a second, it takes a while. Melvin, sorry. Melvin, do you think they're going to give him a go at some point? Is he as fast as them two? Unbelievable. So Caliber then, 15.5 seconds. He just gets fastest lap just to destroy the rest of the field as they're doing 45s. He pulls a 43.5. But that is the pace they were kind of running in the first one. The sun looks like it's going down a bit. Are we going to get a bit of dark racing? Is it going to get dark? Definitely looks like the sun is setting here at Watkins Glen. We could be treated to a little night race if we're lucky. And Mr. Slowly, absolute cracking job for the Full Throttle Racing team from Mr. Slowly. Hasn't quite got the Beamer's pace, but he's got everyone else beat. And there is Herimop there, nearly 9.5 seconds behind Mr. Slowly. Spaced out at the moment because everyone's in their pit stop stage. But it does seem to close up near the end. Nibbles, 4 seconds behind Herimop. He's made his pit stop. He made his pit stop a few laps ago. Now, half tank fuel, tidy tyres in the McLaren. Sober and Joker going wheel to wheel, and that's Joker getting the move done. Brilliant stuff from Joker. Oh, but is Sober going to come back at him? There we see Joker then through and up and into fifth, and I mean we can try and have a look to see if we can see that move before. Here we see, is that where we saw it from? That sucks. I think that's where we saw it from anyway, wasn't it? I thought we'd see it beforehand. Oh, and there's Beautiful move into the chicane there from Joker to get the position done. Beautiful stuff. Oh, I thought that was going to be fancy, and it was going to be from the beginning of it, not from where we saw it from. Go away then. So Joker up and into 5th, past the Audi of Sober. I think they're called Garage 96. So, yeah, Garage 96 team. In 6th place in the Audi. Fuel low, Joker's fuel. Getting lower as well. See the bus stop. The pit stops are coming. Harry Mop, he's going to need to pit soon as well. Definitely Mr. Slowly is on the verge of a pit stop. And then we're going to shuffle it all up and go again. 32 minutes into the 90-minute race. Joker in 5th. Had an absolute tragedy on lap 1. Spun it out big time without causing any damage to his car. And put himself down by about 10-15 seconds, and look at him. He's fought his way through the field. He is close to a pit stop. There is people behind him who have pitted, like Jay in the Aston Martin, Tim Law also in the Corvette, Speedy Man Charles in his Corvette, Behemoth Thurso, who was racing Jay, and he's lost ground on Jay there. Jay's made a good jump ahead of the Corvettes and Big Mama. Sticking with those softs. Have they pitted again since? I think they have. They're burning through soft sets of tyres. Maybe that's how their tuning set up better for. But I think cutting out one of those pit stops, or a couple of those pit stops, and putting some mediums on might be the way to go. Mr. Slowly into the pits. Hairy Mop following suit. Nibles will go back up into 2nd place. Joker, will he pit, or will he try and gain a pit stop on Mr. Slowly and Hairy Mop? Sober also ready for a pit stop. Jay will jump them guys. So will Tim Law and Speedy Man Charles. So Joker opts not to. He does not go in. Sober does go in. So Joker moves up and into 3rd place, but he's got to pay a pit stop with Jay ready to move into that 3rd spot. The Aston Martin really has mugged off the Corvettes in this phase of pit stops. Great stuff. Mr. Slowly back out of the pits alongside Tim Law, but Tim Law is now up and at him. And Tim Law in 5th place, 1.7 seconds behind the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin managing 45.4 at best and a 45.4 at best and a 45.9 the last time out. That would have been so smooth if I didn't tumble over my tongue. And Tim Law managing a 45.1. So Tim Law a lot faster, but now Tim Law's got to defend. He's got to go defensive against Mr. Slowly. I miss F12. They haven't given you F12 as well, where it puts their name up and their helmet. I like looking at their helmets. I miss looking at helmets, man. You can't see the helmet, though, in these cars. A little wiggle there from Mr. Slowly in the Jenny X as he hunts himself a Chevy. Jay just up the road in the Aston Martin, not as fast as these guys. They're doing early 45s. Jay doing mid to late 45s. Joker has got to pit ahead of him. He'll be pitting on this lap, I am pretty sure. I'm surprised he hasn't gone in yet. Where is it? He hasn't gone in this lap either. Joker. Now there he goes. And here comes Mr. Slowly. That straight line speed of the Jenny X, getting the Corvette up the inside. Beautiful move from the Full Throttle Racing crew, and it's a team effort here at Watkins Glen for round 1 of the brand spanking new AXR GT World Endurance Championship Season 2. Back with a bang, baby. And Caliber leading from Nibles' teams, Stacilla Racing. No, and Mr. Slowly's got it all wrong through the chicane. Tim Law wants to come back at him. They're definitely catching the Aston Martin ahead of them. And this, I told you it'd come back together. It looked like it had stretched out, but you know, the pit stops and stuff. They're fighting for third place here. Speedy Man Charles, I don't know how he's dropped off of all of this. He was up there, but he's 8 seconds behind Tim Law, 5 seconds ahead of Harry Mop. Harry Mop coming out of the pits in 7th, ahead of Joker, who had a great stint in that last stint, up into 8th. Sober 9th after all their pit stops. Liam at Thurso was racing Jay. He must be feeling right mugged off. He's thinking, how's Jay ended up in 3rd after pit stops? And Big Mama No Drama is ready for a pit stop themselves. And sticking with the softs, low fuel runs. But it's tricky because I think the pit stops are just too long to try and do those quick stints. Caliber at the moment then 34 seconds. So where were we going to watch? This little battle here, unbelievable. And Mr. Slowly has caught the Aston Martin, but I don't think the Aston Martin is trying to go too fast. I think it's saving fuel, saving everything. So Mr. Slowly then, he got Tim Law, and now he's just nailed the Martin, and on his way in 3rd place. Some 16 seconds behind Niblez though, and Niblez though, less than quarter of a tank of fuel. And Caliber will be getting ready for his 2nd stop pretty soon, as these three all race each other. Tim Law as well through and past the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin not even trying to defend. It's not in the same race as these guys. He's boxing clever, is Jay. Speedy Man Charles 8.9 seconds behind, with Harry Mop in 7th, with Joker in 8th. Sober 9th, Liam at Thurso in 10th, Big Mama in 11th, ready to make that pit stop. Oh, you were going to get a penalty, man. You went in there right last minute. Big Mama, 3-second penalty there straight away. Caliber's picked up a half a second penalty, but he's got 35 seconds to burn, so I'm sure he does not mind. Where is that fight? No fight, is there? I thought Tim Law was gaining on Mr. Slowly, but Mr. Slowly 1.2 seconds ahead. Is the closest thing on track seems to be a Liam at Thurso catching up Sober. So let's just have this treat for a little while. In the chat, oh, someone's alive in the chats. John Mama, it says Kenzie. So Liam at Thurso just under a second behind Sober, and Sober very close to Joker ahead. Oh, Liam getting a handful of oversteer coming out of that corner, got on the accelerator probably a little too early, and the car said no. He's in the murk, isn't he? He's just a little tail happy. And that's given Sober a chance to pull away from Liam at Thurso for a short while, but Liam at Thurso is going to come back twice as hard. Leader now into the pits. The leaders are into the pits. Exciting stuff happening up front. Let's have a look. So Mr. Slowly now, Caliber is out. He's out. He's in and he's out before anyone's even anywhere near him. Unbelievable stuff there. Cracking racing. Absolutely cracking pace from the BMW driver out there, doing a superb job. Mr. Slowly moves up into second, Tim Law in third. Tim Law very ready for a pit stop. Mr. Slowly nowhere near ready for a pit stop. Great stuff. Great strategy from the GTWEC guys, the full throttle racing team. Really putting together something good, like the Aston Martin team also. Although they are getting close to a pit stop now for Jay. Speedy Man Charles ready for a pit stop also. Nibbles just having that pit stop. And coming out from second all the way down to sixth, where Caliber comes out from first to first. Unbelievable. Harry Mop has recently pitted 6.5 seconds behind Nibbles, who is really net second. Although I think Nibbles is going to find trouble with Mr. Slowly later in this race. I think Mr. Slowly's on a good strategy. I think the full throttle racing team is doing the same to the Stosilla racing team that the Stosilla racing team did to the motor bots, so something bots, hang on, it's SBM isn't it, so it's Speedbots Motorsports. Yeah, I think Mr. Slowly is cutting out a pit stop somewhere along the way. He's gonna get the jump done, because the two Corvettes are going to be in at the end of this lap. Jay is going to be in at the end of this lap. Nibbles, 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Mr. Slowly's on somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 a tank, but still interesting. So Jay moves up. He doesn't go in. I thought he would go in with the Corvette. Speedy Man Charles does go in, and he's gone in tight as well. Is he going to get a penalty? Am I getting it wrong about the pit lane entry? I thought it was all the way around that corner. That's why I thought it was awful. So Nibbles stays with it. I'm going to go back. Speedy Man Charles, because I think he's going to get a penalty. Tim Law coming out in the Corvette. The Corvette having an interesting race. It's got the pace. Seems to need frequent pit visits, though. So that's Tim Law, and Speedy Man Charles is in 10th. No, he doesn't get a penalty, so that is the pit entry. I apologise. I thought they had to go all the way around the corner. So, okay, I was wrong. I thought it was all the way around that final corner they had to follow the yellow lines, but obviously not. Caliber leading the way, 21 seconds ahead of Mr. Slowly. Mr. Slowly is going to have to pit soon. And, well, not really. He's got 1/4 of a tank. Jay's going to be pitting this next lap. Nibbles will be moving up into third. And I think it's very tight between the Stosilla and the full throttle racing. When it all shakes out, we are halfway through. We can wheel Beyonce in for the halftime show. All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all your single ladies, all your single ladies. I said all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies. Yeah, that's enough. Someone really broke the bank on the song lyrical writing of that one. All you single ladies, all you single ladies, all you single ladies. What does it matter? Just ladies. Caliber leads the way from Mr. Slowly. Nibbles is in third. Harry Mop has moved up to fourth because Jay has had to bring the Martin in for a bit of fuel and some fresh tyres. And like I said, we're 47 minutes into this 90-minute race, just over halfway. And we have had twists, and we've had more twists and turns than that's at Watkins Glen. It's been great. So Jay leaves the pit lane in 9th place behind Liam. Liam having a very quiet race. He's getting close to a pit stop though in the Mercedes. And Tim Law recently pitting, coming out in 7th behind the Sober Motor Sports. It's not Sober, it's Garage 96, sorry. Audi. super stuff then. Tim Law definitely gaining on the Audi at the moment. Joker having a respectable race there in 5th. Good fuel on board, more than Harry Mop. He might have Harry Mop beat by the end of this race, and that is an absolute cracking feat. The Gen X, the Genesis X, did not look too lively in the first race, but here he's doing very well. The Full Throttle Racing team getting it up into 2nd, possibly beating the McLaren. It's yet to be seen, because Mr. Slowly will have to pit before the Stossilla team. I think it's a slam dunk for Caliber, as it usually is, in all fairness. He is a touch above. Harry Mop then, what's going on? Joker, yeah, I think Joker might have Harry Mop beat in this race. Sober, under pressure from Tim Law. Let us get on board as Tim Law sits right underneath the spoiler of the Audi, the Garage 9016. And trying to go around the outside, the American in the Chevy. The audacity of it. Side by side, and no, the Chevy is through. Beautiful. Oh, some massive lag thing going on there, and it's hard to say. Let's see if the replay caught it a little better, but it just looked weird. It looked like a bit of a lag punch. Didn't even look like it affected Sober. He just drove through him like he was ghosted. Let's have a look. On the curves, yeah, no. But I don't know why he's got damage on the front and the back, because he never actually hit anything. Just 360'd it and carried on. So odd stuff happening for Tim Law there. Bless him. I bet he's absolutely... And damage doesn't go away, so he's got to get that fixed. It's too much damage. No damage to Sober, so... And we saw Sober just go... So, I don't know what code Tim Law's computer thought he saw, but from us, he didn't touch anything. He just 360'd. Did a cool spin and carried on. But it's damaged the front, the back, and the front right suspension on his Corvette. And that is playing into the hands of the Aston Martin, which is already on a very clever strategy. Speedy Man Charles behind the Aston Martin. So, Jay, another scalp. And Tim Law has to go in. He's going to have to go in and fix that car. And that is devastating for Tim Law, who's had an absolutely cracking race so far. Caliber leads from Mr. Slowly, who is now at the bottom of his fuel tank. And he will, and the tyres also. So he's going to have to come in. 45.5s he's pulling with those old tyres. Nibbles, Nibbles has picked up a penalty of 45.1. Now, there was a lot of chat there, but no one's chat's come up. How weird has that happened? I heard chatting in my ears, but no chat has come up on the chat. So whoever typed that, sorry, I missed it. Well, YouTube missed it. What's going on? No. The last thing I've got is Kenzie saying Joe Mama. Weird. So Caliber leads 28 seconds. Mr. Slowly's going to be into the pit. See, he goes all the way around. I don't think you have to do, Mr. Slowly. You're losing yourself time in that corner. So I've seen him just cutting across the yellow line right at the entry and not getting a penalty for it. So Mr. Slowly costing him time into the pits. Nibbles, he had that 5-second penalty, but he does get himself ahead of Mr. Slowly. And Harry Mop, he's going to be into the pits himself. And Joker, that's another position for Joker. Boom, bang tidy. Thank you very much, Joker says. And is he going to get ahead of Mr. Slowly? No way. Mr. Slowly coming out the pit lane though. It's going to be tight between him and Joker. But Mr. Slowly with a fresh set of rubber on his car. No, Mr. Joker does get it. Mr. Joker, sorry. Joker does get it in the Jenny X. Joker's had an absolute cracking race, isn't he? If we had a driver of the day, I think Joker could be in the shout for that one. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, if you've enjoyed today's racing. And hell, why don't you subscribe to the AequepaX Racing channel for more great racing like this on April the 15th, 2 weeks I think. Is he bloody following all the F1 races? Is it 2 weeks for another F1 race? That's annoying. But yeah, on the 15th of April, we are racing again at Catalunya. Oh, I'm learning Spanish. That'd be great. Hola. Soy thingamajig. Mucho gusto. Buenas noches. Buenas noches means good night. And hola obviously is hello. Soy is I am. Thingamajig is who I am. And mucho gusto is it's nice to meet you. Amigo is friend. Gracias is thanks. And vamos is let's go. So Caliber, vamos. Yeah, so it's Spain in 2 weeks' time. And I think your Aussie mate will be back. Sorry, I can't be there. I'm watching some really fast cars down in the old Melbourne, ain't I? And I'm having a Barbie and a bevy. I'm trying to get a Sheila to do something naughty to me. Dear, on first dates, does your dad own a brewery? Can I feel you? Or would you show them to me? If the answer is no to the questions above, would you be a good sport and tell me a friend who does? So Caliber leading the way, 45 seconds, absolutely annihilating the field with Nibbles in that battle with, well, I say Mr. Slowly and Joker absolutely humdinging it. Unbelievable stuff. Mr. Slowly comes out of the pits. Fresh Rubber, I did say Fresh Rubber will win out, but Joker being an absolute pain to Mr. Slowly. He cannot lose time. He's in a battle with Mr. Nibbles. Everyone's going to get called Mr. When someone puts something like that in their bloody name, I get caught. We've got a big Dan in our racing league, and then I end up calling everyone Big something or other. Oh, more chat. That's good. So Kenzie in the chat saying, sing Curtain Falls next. I dedicate it to Fred. Oh no, he's not happy. His wheel broke. So Mr. I don't know Curtain Falls either. Who's that guy? Right. Caliber leads with Nib Les and Joker absolute fly in, and there we go. Mr. Slowly gets the job done. He gets by, but that has cost him a lot of time behind Joker, and he must be absolutely fuming. I mean, Nibbles has only done a 45.7 that last one around, and it's a 45.6, so not a huge amount, but I imagine that Mr. Slowly could have gone faster, and now there's a 15-second gap between himself and Nibbles, with 12 seconds behind Jay on that special strategy by Aston Martin. He's been caught by Speedy Man Charles, but the problem for Speedy Man Charles and Tim Law, where did Tim Law end up after all that damage? Down there, 9th. He's had to go in and fix it, and he's just put a move on Liam at Thurso, which I'm sure Liam at Thurso did not like. He's not having a super race, is he? In all fairness, we just saw that replay. It's a replay from what you've already seen. Oh well. Sorry guys. It's meant to go back 15 seconds. I thought we'd see the beginning of the move. So Tim Law there, 8th. Liam at Thurso. He's 9th. And it's very tight down here. Tim Law, sober. Big Mama, I think, is a little bit off because he's got on a strategy where he's just absolutely, he's doing short stints on soft. Oh, he has actually put medium tyres on. Big Mama, changing to the medium tyres, just coming in. And we're nearly at the hour mark. He's doing a cracking job. Caliber is hard, man. It's hard. I haven't seen both of those guys race before. What was it? Untamed Animal and I forgot his name already. Big Mama. Racing in last season, so it's coming into a new group of fellas, trying to find your pace. It's a big one, it's huge, but they've started well, I believe, the team. Nibbles then in that battle with Mr. Slowly. Hard to call. That sun's been setting a long time, bleeding out. With Jay on a super strategy with the Aston Martin. He's really using the Aston Martin's fuel tank to the best of its capacity. Speedy Man Charles is catching him up, but I think by the time he's got him, he's going to have to come back in and pit. But Speedy Man Charles in 5th in the Puma Chevy. He's racing for, I'll tell you. I thought the iPad had died. Excuse me. Oh my lord. Windy box. I'm going to tell you who he's racing for. Honestly, I will. I've been doing well. Oh, he's in the the Scuderia Chiara, I think is how it's pronounced. Chiara. So someone did tell me as well the pronunciation. I'm sorry. So yeah, they are in. It's him and Nano Maranello was in the first hit. Speedy Man Charles doing a cracking job, and Nano Maranello was around that sort of place, wasn't he? 5th or 6th. So good points haulage for Scuderia and Chiara. So Caliber 47 seconds ahead of Nibbles, and there is no strategy in the world that you can use against the might of that BMW. Nibbles, though, looking good for 2nd, although I'd still think Mr. Slowly and possibly Joker are a threat to that 2nd place. We'll have to see. Joker has got Tim Law catching him, and those Chevys are pretty fast. But Tim Law, like Speedy Man Charles, is coming to the end of his stint, where Joker has got plenty of fuel and loads of grip. So I imagine he doesn't mind. Caliber then leads the way. I know I keep saying Caliper, but it's Caliber. Sorry. I think of brake caliper, that's why. Caliber is going to be making a pit stop pretty soon. And Nibbles, he's got a little fuel, nice amount of grip left on those tyres, but it's not going to change a whole heap. He's not going to, I mean, even gaining a pit stop on Caliber is not going to help in this race. And really, Nibbles has to worry about Mr. Slowly. Mr. Slowly definitely bringing it to that 2nd place as he skids the back wheels around the corner. And Mr. Slowly definitely having a little rub up against the wall. He's definitely bringing the noise to this race. Jay as well with a very clever strategy. He's up there, isn't he? He's up there, even though he's going through a slow phase. He's doing 46s, but he's in 4th. Speedy Man Charles, like I said, as soon as he catches him up, he's going to have to make a pit stop. He's in the 46s himself, though. It seems a slower pace than the first race. I don't know if it's... Harry Mott did do a 44. He is doing 44, so just seems different phases of the race. Everyone's doing kind of different lap times. We know 44s, it's only Caliber that can get 43s. But the rest of the field all can get 44s, but they seem to be driving around in the 45s, 46s. Probably fuel saving, playing the strategy game. Joker at the moment has got Tim Law. We said Tim Law would catch him up, but it's just at the end of his fuel, so he's going to have to come in and take a pit stop. Caliber's in. I would cut to him, but what's the point? I mean, what's the point? I don't mean what's the point, but he's going to be out before anyone catches him up, so there's not a big thing to see with his pit stop. It should be straightforward. And we've got a race here between Joker and Tim Law, although I suspect Tim Law is going to drop it in the pits. I think Speedy Man Charles might be as well. He didn't get the job done on the Aston Martin in the end, so Jay sits in the same place as Speedy Man Charles. Will have to bring it into the pits. Joker still with all that pressure from Tim Law, but I don't think Joker's feeling it. I think he's quite comfortable with the pace he's running in the Jenny X. And Nibbles is into the pits now. I wouldn't have called that, but yes, he needs the fuel. So Nibbles has pitted, Caliber's pitted. Mr. Slowly did not pit. Jay is not going to pit, but Nibbles, is he going to be out before Jay is on the scene? So Nibbles is out, and Jay isn't quite there, just behind him. Still great stuff for Jay. Harry Mop in the Beamer, he's doing okay, and Joker as well, who's also, I think, a threat to the top end guys. I know he's not up there with them, but I think when all the pit stops shake out in the next 27 minutes, Joker is going to be a threat. Sober, 6 seconds behind Joker. Speedy Man Charles, Liam at Thurso, and Tim Law all having to make pit stops. And Big Mama we saw making the pit stop earlier, back on the softs for Big Mama, obviously a lot more comfortable with those soft tyres. And then it's Speedy Man Charles out of the pits, 8 seconds behind Sober. Now that's not going to be enough fuel to get to the end for Speedy Man Charles. Tim Law, also another pit stop to be made. Oh, and poor Liam at Thurso has fallen foul to the pit lane line penalty and has found 3 seconds added on to his race, which he doesn't really need because he was only just behind Tim Law. Tim Law there. So there was a race on for Liam at Thurso, but another 3 seconds hit for the AXR team. And Mercedes is just going from bad for worse for them, isn't it? Caliber leads the way, 32 seconds from Mr. Slowly, and this is the battle. Mr. Slowly and Nibbles is this is what I can't tell what's going to happen before the end of the race. Mr. Slowly, at a quarter of a tank, could quite possibly take that to 1 hour 10 minutes, and that's it then. One more stop before the end of the race, which is very similar to what Stosilla Racing did in the first race against Dan Robbo in the Speedy Box Motorsport team. Caliber at the moment has got that penalty, that pit stop covered off, and so he can have a splash and dash before the end of the race. No one's going to touch him, so Caliber pretty safe out there in the lead. Mr. Slowly could jump Nibbles before the end of the race. Jay also on a very strong strategy, 4 seconds ahead of Harry Mop, who's going to have to pit imminently, and Joker, I'd say, on a good strategy also. Oof. Sober isn't that far behind Joker, but his tyres are used. He's got a quarter of a tank. Then we have the Chevys that showed good in the beginning, but have had their woes. Tim Law with that weird lag spin that destroyed everything on his car. He was definitely a top 5, maybe 4th place before that, but now racing for 9th. Maybe he might catch up the Chevy, but it's very unlikely. 10 seconds between the two of them, and I believe they will have to make another stop before the end of this race. Liam at Thurso, and again another one that's going to have to pit before the end of the race. I mean, they're all going to have to pit before the end of the race, but I mean, some of them might have to pit twice, depending on what fuel they go for. Harry Mott, we've got 23 minutes left of the race to go. Caliber leading from Mr. Slowly, who's 15 seconds ahead of Nibbles, and it's going to be, Mr. Slowly picking up a half a second penalty. It's not too concerned, I imagine, about that. It's not a 3-seconder, is it? Jay, probably concerned about his front left medium tyre starting to die. The headlights are coming on. The sun has disappeared. And what positions are they going to finish? Still a mystery to me. like I said, Joker, I still think could get into the podium. It's a similar fuel as Jay, though. It's going to be tricky. Jay might be the fly in his ointment. Nibbles might lose that position too slowly. Slowly's going to be in soon. Further down, I don't know what the Corvettes are going to do. Speedy Man Charles is ahead of Harry Mop after Harry Mop's pit stop for Clockwork Motorsport Apex. And he's down in 8th place, half a tank of fuel. Again, I think that's another stop before the end of the race. But all of them are going to have to. Tim Law 14 seconds ahead of Liam at Thurso now. Harry Mop. Oh, they're teammates, aren't they? Tim Law and Harry Mop. They could work together, I suppose. Well, not really. They're too far apart. I was going to say Bumpcraft up to the back of Speedy Man Charles, but just I don't think Tim Law's doing what, a 44.5 last time out. Harry Mop 45.5, second faster virtually than the Beamer driver, and the Speedy Man Charles 46.3, differentiating those lap times quite largely. Caliber 36-second lead now. The man is immense. What can we say? We're coming into the last 21 minutes of racing here. That's two 90-minute races. Add it up to a 3-hour endurance bonanza, and we have had racing all the way through it. So Caliber leads from Mr. Slowly, who is now on the verge of his pit stop, the last pit stop he's probably going to have to make. Nibbles is questionable whether or not he's going to get that to last. Do you know, Caliber could possibly make that fuel last. He doesn't have to pit. There's no reason for him to make it last. He's got a pit stop in hand, but he's got a good amount of fuel on there if he really needed to. So Mr. Slowly in, possibly for his last pit stop of the evening, while Nibbles has to make up some ground. I think Mr. Slowly is a huge threat to his position. I think Nibbles will have to make a pit stop as well, and it's going to be tight between those two. Jay pushing the Aston Martin as deep into the race as he possibly can. I'm not sure he's a threat to the top three, but he could keep Joker off 4th. There's Joker trying to get into it. Joker then, he's near a pit stop himself. Maybe I've misread that one. I thought he was up there, similar to Mr. Slowly, but he's 8 seconds behind Mr. Slowly, and he's going to have to make a pit stop. Mr. Slowly's done an immense job in the middle of this race when he saved that fuel. He's really turned it around. Joker was also racing. No, it wasn't. It was Liam at Thurso won it for Racing Jay. And Jay there in 3rd. And it must be painful for Liam at Thurso to see. Down there in 10th place. Things not gone his way in this race. Chasing down the Chevy of Tim Law, but 16-second deficit. It's too tall of a thing to ask. He needs Tim Law to have another one of those special lag spike, those lag spins. It destroys both ends of his car, even though he didn't hit anything. Speedy Man Charles is under threat now from Harry Mop. Harry Mop finding the Corvette on track, and he's going up the inside. He's got the soft tyres as Harry Mop, and that is put him up and into 7th, 7 seconds behind Sober. And Speedy Man Charles, though, coming back at him on the mediums. Up the inside, does he have the grip? There's contact, and the car's gone. It was barely contact, but Harry Mop way off. Oh, my Lord. It was a slide, and Harry Mop's been, what's going on? Put back on track, I think, behind Tim Law. Poor Harry Mop. Oh, my word. I think he'll put something in the stewards. It was a brave move, I've got to say, by Speedy Man Charles on a set of mediums going up the inside. Jay goes into the pits at the time with Sober And Sober was under threat from the Corvettes. And let's see how it plays out. Caliber leads. Nibbles in second, 15 seconds ahead of Mr. Slowly. Mr. Slowly, half a tank. Is that enough fuel to get to the end? Possibly. Nibbles will have to make another stop, and that is going to be very tight between himself and Mr. Slowly. Joker there in fourth, but he's got to make a pit. He's got to come in, and that could put Speedy Man Charles back up ahead. And Tim Law closing in on Speedy Man Charles. Jay making that stop, coming out in seventh right behind the Chevys. And he's gone 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Is that what you need to get to the end? That Aston Martin ran for nearly 20 minutes on 1/4 of a tank of fuel. Surely for 17 or 16 and a half minutes racing, you just need 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Not sure on Jay's fuel there. Harry Mop, he must be absolutely fuming. It was barely a touch, in all fairness, though. It didn't look that hard for the car to react that way. It was crazy. It flew. It just flew in the opposite direction. But I don't think Speedy Man Charles was coming in particularly fast. I thought it was going to be a rub, but I didn't expect that sort of reaction from the BMW. Wow, amazing. Liam Thurso then in ninth place, ahead of Sober, who's made that pit stop. And I think that 3/4 of a tank it seems to be what they need to get to the end, which is a surprise. So Liam Thurso may have to pit again, and maybe a few out there have to pit again. Let's have a look. Joker's gone in. Caliber, he's got half a tank of fuel. I think half a tank will get you 15 minutes. Nibbles, he's going to have to make a stop. Slowly has just gone fastest of all, 42.8, and I said Caliber's the only one who can get into the 43s, and Mr. Slowly has just slammed it into a 42.8. Unbelievable stuff. Ooh, got a massive wiggle on, but he's still getting purples. Mr. Slowly pushing like hell, and Nibbles, his heart must be sinking out there. It must be absolutely sunken, because he can see that. Surely he can see that the Jenny X is closing in after its pit stop, and Nibbles still has to make a pit stop. 15 minutes left of this 90-minute race. Speedy Man Charles there, with Tim Law very close behind, and Jay also very close. Look at this, 1 hour and 15 minutes racing, and we've got 4th, 5th and 6th all on the same screen. Unbelievably tight, and Harry Mop is not that far behind, and he'll be driving angry, I imagine. Joker, we saw make that stop. This is him going to the end. He'll be hoping a lot of people pit in front of him. Who? Yes, probably Harry Mop. I don't know, 1/4 of a tank is, I'm thinking half a tank is what's going to get you there. Tim Law is on fumes. Speedy Man Charles not quite yet, but I think we'll see Tim Law. Yes, he's slowed it down. Tim, I don't think you have to go all the way around that corner. I'm not sure, mate. But I've seen some of them just dive in, and I tell you what, now the lights are on that. That's a lovely little livery, isn't it? I didn't realise it had all sort of writing on the black. Beautiful stuff. Caliber leads by nearly a minute, 50-second lead on Nibbles. Nibbles has picked up a penalty. He's got a pit stop to make, and Mr. Slowly is smashing out those lap times. Since the sun's gone down, he's like the anti-solar panelled racer. Now the track's cooled down a little bit. Mr. Slowly is slamming the pits, the lap times. Speedy Man Charles not pitting yet. And Jay also going all the way to the end. He'll be hoping Speedy Man Charles will pit, but he possibly will. 13 minutes of racing. I can't see that fuel getting there. I don't know, Jay. Then Harry Mop. I don't know. I can't say. Nibbles has come in, giving up the position to Mr. Slowly, but I'm saying half a tank to get to the end. He's got 1/4 of a tank. I am clueless. I am, honestly. Caliber's got 1/4 of a tank. Can 1/4 of a tank get you there? 13 minutes? You had some people pitting in 13 minutes with half a tank. And Caliber picking up a penalty somewhere. Mr. Slowly. And then. Let's see what Nibbles puts in his car. Speedy Man Charles definitely can't make it with that fuel. He must be slowing down. Jay catching him up. Maybe Jay just over-fueled, possibly. Joker as well. A lot of fuel on board with him. Harry Mop has got some damage, very small damage, just on the suspension. Did he hit a curb too hard? But he is closing in on Joker. With Liam out there, so I think he's going to have to pit. Sober, he'll gain some positions if these guys ahead of him pit. There's Tim Law. He had to make a pit. He's got half a tank. So I honestly don't know. And Big Mama there on the medium tyres. They're just swapping it around and they're mixing it up. Medium softs, medium softs. But he's getting headlights behind him and blue flags. So someone's coming across him. And it's not Caliber. This must be Mr. Slowly. That's not bad, is it? Second place. I would be amazed just staying on the same lap as these for an hour and 18 minutes. So, I don't know. Big up yourself. There's the flash in to say I am coming through and I am in an absolute blinding race with Nibbles. Nibbles put half a tank in. So has Mr. Slowly got enough fuel? But he did go for ages with light fuel, didn't he? And he's just given a thank you as he goes by Big Mama. Nibbles. They got out-strategized. Their team out-strategized the SPM guys in the first race, and then the Full Throttle guys pretty much did to them what they did in the first race. So great stuff. Speedy Man Charles has got to come into the pits as the Aston Martin goes through, and Speedy Man Charles, he's not going to try and ride that all the way to the end, is he? No, he's coming in. Which gives Joker a position, but Joker is in trouble there. But Harry Mop, he's going to have to come in as well. Harry Mott then, look, some of them do stay in that yellow line all around, but I don't think they have to. It's something they should have checked out, I suppose. Liam at Terso, he's going to have to come in as well, and this is playing beautifully into Sober's hands. And the Garage 66 Audi R8 is just about to scoop up a lovely handful of points here in the last 10 minutes of this racing. If everything goes well for him, he's just jumped to... Can he get Speedy Man Charles? He does. Speedy Man Charles, though, just out behind him. That Corvette is very rapid. And it's going to be a struggle for him to keep the Corvette behind. The Corvette there. But with half a tank of fuel, 10 minutes to go. Yeah, the fuel levels are all over the place with these guys. Caliber, I'm questioning whether or not that's enough fuel to the end, but he's got a minute on anyone around him. Mr. Slowly, he's hit something. He's low on fuel. He's coming in, and I may have been wrong about him. I thought that fuel was going to be enough, but it's not. He's got to come in. So Nibbles is going to get the second place, and I was completely wrong for the last 30 odd minutes, saying that Mr. Slowly had got the move done in the pits. And Mr. Slowly's gone in. I misread that one totally. And he's got to have damage fix, which is going to make his pit stop even slower. And Nibbles back up and into second, and Silla in the points. It's going to be tight between them. It's their fastest lap's going to make the difference. And it's Mr. Slowly who's got the fastest lap. I don't know if one of the top two, I think Dan Robbo may have had it in the first race. I can't remember. No, it was who won it. So it was Frequency. So, yes, Silla Racing will be leading the championship, I believe, at the end of this race, if everything stays the same. Because Frequency got the fastest lap in the first race, and SPM, Caliber's team, finished in second, and Frequency, who's in Nibbles' team, finished in first with the fastest lap. So, very tight championship between the SBM team and Silla Racing. Mr. Slowly getting that third, and Jay absolutely strategizing his way up and into fourth. Joker's again. Joker also having a super race. Special stuff there from Joker. I mean, if there was a man of the race, it's got to be him. He was spinning. He was spinning at the end of the first lap, and he's coming around in fifth. So Shadow in the chat saying, go to P6, please. Okay, sorry. Oh, because there's a battle. Sorry, Speedy Man Charles. Yeah, he came out of the pits, didn't he? On soft tyres, and Sober having to defend. And there goes Charles. He's having a look at the inside, a dive. And we saw Charles and Harry Mop having a, was it Charles? Having a big one. It might not have been Charles, actually. I might have been getting excited there. And they're side by side, but Sober's got the inside lines. Speedy's a little bit ahead, but the inside wins out for Sober, does it not? No, these long shots are pants. And around the outside, it looks like Speedy's going to do it, but no, Sober's back again. Unbelievable racing from these two, but Speedy Man Charles just slightly ahead. And I think Speedy Man Charles has got the job done in the final corner on the inside, and there we go. Speedy Man Charles up into 6th, Sober down into 7th, Fuel. And that was soft tyres versus medium tyres, remember. And Sober might be in trouble now with Tim Law. No, Tim Law's 10 seconds behind on the medium tyres as well. So Sober, he's just going to cling. He wants to cling on to the back of Speedy Man Charles and hope that Speedy Man Charles's tyres go away from him. As it looks like Caliber is coming up to put a lap on bloody 7th and 6th in this race. That is some pace. Nibles keeps that second, even though I took it away from him and said he'd lost it. Mr. Slowly in 3rd, only 6 seconds ahead of Jay, but Jay's tyres are absolutely spent. We're into the last 5.5 minutes. Joker in 5th, he's 12 seconds ahead of Speedy Man Charles and 14 seconds behind Jay, nothing going there. And there we see Sober letting Caliber through. And if he sticks to the back of Caliber, he might catch Speedy Man Charles out. If Speedy Man Charles has to lift to let Caliber through, Sober could get himself the position back. He's just got to be sneaky. He's got to be sneaky, Sober. Sit right up the backside of Caliber and hope that Speedy Man Charles pulls over for him. Sober in 7th then, Speedy Man Charles just getting that 6th. And those racing soft tyres. It looks like Sober losing ground to Caliber and Speedy Man Charles. Speedy Man Charles might be able to pull over and let Caliber through without any trouble from Sober. Meanwhile, Caliber leads this race from Nibles with Mr. Slowly in 3rd, Jay in 4th, Joker for the AXR team in 5th, Speedy Man Charles for Scuderia Chiara in 6th, with Sober in 7th for Garage 96 and Tim Law for the Clockwork Orange crew. I think he is Vertex guy in the Vertex team, with the Apex team running in, I'm not sure. Oh, what's that Caliber going through? That's all right. I got excited for no reason there. And there you go, Speedy Man Charles letting Caliber through. I don't know if he let him through, but Caliber got through. Left the door open for Caliber to go through. And Sober, he just doesn't have the pace, does he? He doesn't have the pace to stay with Speedy Man Charles. And we have got 3.5 minutes left of racing. So Caliber leads by 55.5 seconds. Nibles ahead of Slowly by 12.5 seconds. Everything straightforward to the line now. Mr. Slowly 9.8 seconds ahead of Jay in the Aston Martin. And then we have Joker in 5th. Great drive from Joker. Great drive from Jay as well. Both of them right at the back. Slowly strategized themselves up into the mid-pack. Speedy Man Charles looked like those positions up there, 4th or 5th, was definitely his. But he's lost a bit of ground. And Sober as well, dropping back into Tim Law. And there's the other Clockwork Motorsport car. Harry Mop closing in on Tim Law, and Tim Law trying to catch Sober in the Audi R8. Liam, not his race today, in 10th, with Big Mama in 11th, just finding their feet. But Caliber has been on another level, as we've got 2 minutes left of racing. So that's this lap and the next, I believe. It's over. Nib Les, 57.3 seconds. Adrift of Caliber, but a great race with Slowly. They barely saw each other on track, but the strategy guys were absolutely hard at it with their game of chess at 130 miles an hour. Jay, beautiful, beautiful drive. Looking after the fuel and the tyres, taking it deep into the early sessions of the race, and he's come through in 4th, 15 seconds ahead of Joker, who he's not going to catch Jay at this point of the race. Speedy Man Charles, 9 seconds behind Joker. He's up for it. Fuel's flashing, but he's got plenty of time on track, and he pulled away by 6 seconds to Sober, who is bringing it home. But he's got Tim Law trying to catch him, 5.2 seconds. But like I said, we've got 1 minute left of racing. Most people are going to be there. Then the next lap is the final lap for them. As Harry Mop crosses the line, Clockwork Motorsport. And his teammate got podium. I think got 3rd place in the first race. So I imagine Harry Mott was going to be disappointed, but he did have that coming together with someone, didn't he? I can't even remember who it is now. Liam at Thurso, low on fuel, but I think he's going to be safe, bringing it on home. So where are we? We've got 20 odd seconds left. There we go. Second, is he going to cross the line? 5 seconds to go. He's good. Mr. Slowly, that's it, the flag is out, and it's Mr. Slowly in 3rd place. Great drive for Mr. Slowly, and superb stuff. Jay bringing it on home for 4th. Great strategy, great drive for the Aston Martin team. Brilliant stuff. Joker for the AXR team, next up in 5th place. To say he was spinning around and around on lap 1. He's had an excellent drive to bring it back into 5th spot, and he's through. And then is it Caliber next? Caliber there takes the win. Superb stuff. Nibbles is a little bit away, so Speedy Man Charles grabs himself 6th. Sober comes home for 7th. Great stuff. Nibbles, he's still not there yet. So then it's Tim Law in 8th, Harry Mop in 9th, and Liam at Thurso comes home in 10th, and Nibbles still coming around. Did he run out of fuel or something? No, just enjoying his drive. There's no way anyone can take the position away from him. He can just cruise home if he wants. But Caliber, a touch above, a class drive from Caliber to get the win for the BMW team. I can't remember the teams, man. I was remembering them all the way through. Caliber for the Speedbots Motorsport. Nibbles bringing it in 2nd place for Stasilla Racing. Mr. Slowly for the full throttle racing team in 3rd. Wowzers, what a race, guys. What an absolute cracker. And there we see Caliber. He's stealth mode, isn't he? You can hardly see him. Can't see the shape of that pert little butt. So a quick look at those results before we close shop for the night. And you will not see us again until April the 15th, where we will be back for a 4-hour race next time at Catalunya. Hola, soy thingamajig. Mucho gusto. So Caliber wins the race, and he got fastest lap in the end. So that will put the SBM team at the top of the table, getting that fastest lap in the BMW M6. Nibles comes home in second for the Stossilla team. Then Mr. Slowly for the Full Throttle Racing team in the Jenny X. Jay, a fantastic drive to get fourth in the end in the Aston Martin. We saw a bit of its livery. He was racing with Kevin, but Kevin couldn't get to the end. He had trouble in the first race. So I don't know what sort of points they'll get for that. But Jay getting very good points there in fourth place. And they are racing for the THG, the Humble Guys Racing Team France. What's the F for? RTF. Because before it was RTH, which was Racing Team Holland or something. Anyway, they're in the Aston Martin. And yeah, Jay doing a super job. Getting fourth. Joker, a great turnaround of a race. And got himself fifth. A speedy man, Charles, in the Corvette. Had all this pace, but I think he had a pit stop more than a couple of them around him. Gets sixth. Sober, a great drive in that Audi. Forever, always. Even just getting the Audi around one lap is something special. So Sober doing a super job for Garage 96. And then Tim Law, he had that weird spiky lag spin. Then Harry Mop, he had a good race, but that coming together that was sent him miles off into the shadow realm, and it didn't seem like it was that hard a hit. I think it was Speedy Man Charles, but I'm not sure. Finished in ninth. Liam at Thurso just didn't seem to get the Mercedes to work for him today. Comes in 10th, with Big Mama finding his feet in 11th. Wowzers, guys. What a great race we all just had. Now, we should take the next couple of weeks to reflect on what we've seen here today and see what moral stories we can come away with it. And really have a deep thought about things. Oh, big stretch. Yeah, I was reflecting. Sorry. We'll do that not during the stream. I can get them back up, actually. There's no point looking at the room. Right then, what have I got to tell you then? Nothing. I reckon our Aussie... Oh, what? Oh, all right, Groot. You all right, mate? You off somewhere? You in a rush? All right. So, our Aussie mate should be back next week, so you don't have to put up with me with two stints. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Hugh Jorgen. Thank you for joining us here at the AequepaX Racing channel for a glorious beginning to a brand new season of the GT World Endurance Championship. Season 2, Round 1, slam dunked, Watkins Glen. Cracking stuff. Thank you for joining us here, and I will see you in 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks. At Catalunya. I'll learn some more Spanish phrases. Buenas noches. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Peace out.